Hey, this G Butterfly. Welcome to the Watch and Whisper channel, and today we're going to talk about the Bell Collective, Season 2, Episode 4. This episode starts off where Ikea and Latishea are on Ferris Street. Latishea goes to meet Ikea. God damn it, I didn't call that woman Ikea again. Ikea, to discuss some of the properties that are on Ferris Street. As you know, Latishea has a passion for revitalizing Ferris Street, and Ikea's family has property on the street. So they go and talk just to look at some of the properties, and Ikea, God damn it, Ikea is giving a little history lesson to Latishea about some of the buildings and how far back the property goes to her family, and how I think her great grandfather bought the property, but at the time blacks were unable to buy property, so he gave the money to a friend. A friend bought the property and deeded it over to him. Well, they talk, and they also talk about bringing Marie in. Well, actually, Latishea said that she was going to talk to Marie about what they talked about while they were on Ferris Street looking at some of the properties. And Ikea told her, oh, hold on. I'm going to do business with you first, and let's just see how that goes before we think about bringing Marie in. And she has the right to have the reservations that she has based on her interaction with Marie. Marie acted a complete donkey at the Women's Empowerment Brunch, and she says she's just not used to doing business with women that act like that. So Latishea was like, okay, I can just tell her about it, and we can probably move forward from there. But, they talked, they went to have lunch, but the long and short of everything is Latishea was like, now, why is Ikea, God damn it, why is Ikea giving me a history lesson? Don't she know I know all about Ferris Street? And she pretty much was just saying, girl, you wasting my time with all this history lesson. I'm here to talk about business. Ikea also goes on to tell Latishea that a lot of the property on Ferris Street actually were plantations. And she said she really wanted to bring back Ferris Street so that the people that are actually doing business on Ferris Street, possibly living on Ferris Street, will be able to see that, yes, it started off as a plantation and slaves were there. But now you can see it flourish and being owned by black members of black residents, Jackson, Mississippi. So I thought that was pretty cool. But again, if you could see Latisha's face, she's looking at Ikea like, girl, can you come on and quit with this history lesson and let's keep it moving? We're about doing some business. Well, the one thing that Ikea said was, yes, she knows that Latishea really wants to bring back Ferris Street, but she really want to know what kind of coins you got, Latishea. So we'll see how that's going to go. Marie goes over to Latisha's office and wants to talk to her. She wants to talk to her about the brunch that they had and the big fallout. She said she wanted to wait until the dust kind of settled, and which it had, because I'm assuming it had been a week or two. Well, she went there and she looked very pretty. I thought her hot pink jumpsuit was really cute, but her hair, once again, I'm like, ooh, she must have made her stylist mad, because they be tearing her head up. She actually went to talk to Latishea, and she pretty much just told Latishea, yes, I respect you, I respect what you're trying to do, however, I'm not going to be able to attend any more of your brunches. And so Latishea was, I think, taken aback a little bit, and she was looking like, okay, but why? And she told her that it only takes one person to ruin something, and in her mind, Marie feels like she didn't do anything wrong. And that's what Latishea was talking about in the last episode, that Marie will not take any responsibility for anything. Marie said, well, why is everybody upset? And Latishea told her, everyone is not upset, it's me. You're my friend. I really wanted you there so that you could be empowered. And, you're a great businesswoman. You could have been in a position to empower other women, but you caused a commotion. One thing Marie said is, why do we keep talking about this? She's talking about the situation with her and Latrice. She said, I'm through with it, never going to own her part in it, so I'm just done with it. And Latishea is telling her, no, that's not how we need to handle things. You need to actually talk it out so that we can get to some type of resolve. And, Marie's sitting there looking all stank in the face. She walked in with an attitude, even though she gave the niceties and would say, oh, you look so nice. I respect you, blah, blah, blah. She really came there with the same stank attitude she's been having this whole season. Now, I said in my first video, Marie does have a lot going on with her separation from her husband, the situation that happened with her business. I'm sure she's probably still dealing with that. Then the death of her grandson's her grandson's mother. She's dealing with that. She has illnesses. In this episode, I think she says she has lupus, and she's dealing with that. She has a lot going on. So Marie probably needs cancer. Oh, not cancer, Lord Jesus, I'm sorry. Marie probably needs counseling. But to say she's not going to come because of all of the drama that was at the brunch, she don't realize that she was the one who brought the drama. Marie is not trying to hear Latishea tell her that she is in the wrong. She feels like Latrice is totally in the wrong. And Latishea was trying to get her to understand, hey, I told Latrice the same thing I'm telling you. She said, and Latrice actually came and wanted to talk to you, but you shut it all down with your nasty attitude. Glenn goes over to have a conversation with his mother-in-law, Miss Faye. You can tell they have a very good loving relationship. And he said that Miss Faye has been in his life since he was a teenager, so he feels like she's his mom as well. And you can tell that she has a genuine love for him. And they talk about the situation between him and Latishea, and he's saying that he wants to do whatever he can to get his family back. He said that his father was not a good father. He said he respects his father as a man, but that's it. He says that he's going to be the best father in the world to his son Josh, because that's who means everything to him. And if he just does the opposite of what his dad did, he's going to be a good father. Well, he's telling her that him and Latishea had a conversation, and it escalated to like a little disagreement. Not necessarily a full-blown argument, but a disagreement. And he was saying that he just wants to do what he needs to do to get his family back. He know he did wrong. Now, the one thing I noticed about Glenn talks real fast, and he'll try to catch you with his words, but Glenn does not listen for understanding. Glenn listens to respond. And that's a big difference. And like Miss Faye was telling him, you were cheating with those women, and that was like the misdemeanor. But when there was a threat of a baby involved, that turned into a felony. And she was saying like Latishea is just not going to go on what Glenn says anymore. Latishea is actually going to go on his actions. And she was telling Glenn, you have some work that you need to do. Now, Glenn is telling Miss Faye that he wants his family back together. But did anybody catch that Glenn is not wearing a wedding ring? I think Latishea is still wearing her wedding ring. But anybody notice he's not wearing his? Wonder what's up with that. The next scene is Ikea and Willie going to look like a little coffee shop. And Ikea is saying that her husband is from New York, born and raised, and she's from Jackson, Mississippi. And she really wanted to move back to her hometown. And you could tell he's sitting in the confessional and he's not feeling it at all. He likes the big city. He says nothing to do in Jackson, Mississippi, and she's adamant that with her trying to revitalize Ferry Street, she's going to need to be there. So him trying to be the supportive husband, he told her, okay, I support you in what you're doing. However, I need to go back to New York because I have some commentating gigs that's working out well for me, and that's how we eat. And she was like, well, I know that's how we eat, but what we're doing will help us eat in the future. And he told her he understands that, but she is adamant that she wants to buy a 5,000 square foot home in Jackson. She say that they're currently paying rent, and she don't think it's smart to pay rent. She feel like they need to be paying a mortgage on a home. And he's telling her, but you're making this sound very permanent. And I told you that I was open to coming here for a little while to help with the Ferry Street revitalization. However, you're making it sound like we're going to live here. And eventually she just said, you know, home is where her family is. So I guess if the husband put his foot down, they're really not going to live in Jackson. But she says they're going to have to give it at least 2 years. She doesn't want her children living all cramped up. And he was like, we're not living in a shack. I think they stay in a several thousand-foot home. But when they went to look for a home later on in the episode, as much as he said he doesn't want to be there, he complained about everything with the house that they found that So Gucci took them to see. Well, while they were in a coffee shop, she pretty much, you could tell she's kind of spoiled. She's probably used to getting her own way. And during the conversation, you could tell that she's used to talking to the point where she actually gets her way and wears him down. So we'll see how their dynamic is going to play out during this. Now, the next scene shows Latrice in her Goddess Lent's office with her 2 employees. They're getting ready to shut down for the day, and in walks Essie. But can somebody tell me what in the blue hell did Essie have on in her confessional? I say, I don't know who gave her that dress, but that's a hard no, But when she walked into the office, you could see Latrice's face like, what are you doing here? And then Essie came in, and you know, you can already tell that it's getting ready to be a shade fest, because Latrice said, oh, I smell white diamonds. And when I looked up, I seen S with the mess walking in. Well, then she asked her, oh, what are you in here for a makeover? I say, oh, the shade of it all, because she just telling the girl, you look a hot mess. That's really what she's telling you, S with the mess. But this is Miss Essie. That's what she was telling Essie. Essie actually came over to talk to Latrice about Marie. She wanted to come over and plead Marie's case and pretty much tell her that Marie is sick. She has a lot of family stuff going on, and that she feels like Latrice didn't take any responsibility for starting the rumor or not necessarily starting the rumor, but she didn't do anything to stop the rumor that they say that she got the information from one of her friends about Marie's business with the Medicaid, allegedly Medicaid and Medicare fraud. And Latrice says that she's just over it. She's not going to say that she did something that she didn't do. And she say Marie is just not in a place to accept the fact that she didn't do what she's accusing her of, and she's over it. And she was saying that she doesn't want to see Marie sick, knowing that she has a lot of things going on what went on with her grandson's daughter. She wants to just squash whatever it is, and she's open to squashing it. But again, Messy Marie is going to have to be open to it. But the whole time they were sitting there, while her and S with the mess was going back and forth with the shade, I said, what's a shade fest? But at the end of the scene, she said that she's willing to talk to Marie, and she's willing to just squash everything because it's really not worth going on. Latishea and Cliff meet up at a Creole restaurant. And Latishea looks very pretty. Glenn looks very nice in his well. That was a nice warm-up suit he had on. Now, he said that he know Latishea purposely wore the outfit that she wore to show him, yeah, see what you're missing. And he was like, yeah, she was looking good. And the way he looked at her, like he wanted to just eat her up right there in the parking lot. But during the meeting, Latishea and Glenn talk about the troubles that they're having in their relationship. And Latishea got real bossy with him, the way maybe bossy wasn't the right word, but she was very vocal on how she felt about everything and what Glenn did. And Glenn, for whatever reason, will not just stop and listen to what she's saying and take ownership that he messed up his marriage. He wants to just do a reset button and reset everything back to how it used to be. And she's telling him, I'm not that woman anymore. What you used to do is not going to work on me. I'm watching your actions. And long story short, they sat there and talked, and she was just telling him, she raised her voice, and she was just telling him, you're not going to treat me that way anymore. You need to change. And he kept saying, I know I did wrong, but I know I did wrong, but he's just not sitting in what he did and said, you know what? Yes, I was wrong. What can we do at this point to move forward if that's what you want to do? And she's telling him, I need time. It's going to be baby steps. And she was like, I've been in this place with you before where you've apologized, and you went back to your same routine. She said she's not going for that anymore. And she said to Glenn, we're going to take baby steps. Well, Glenn was wearing her down. And you could tell in her face he was wearing her down. And she actually started crying. And she said, you know what? I don't want to love you again, and you hurt me again. And now, I'm sure there's some women and some men who can truly relate to that particular statement, myself included, when someone tells you that they're not going to hurt you anymore. They're making you believe that they're not lying anymore. So let's just pray that Glenn is not lying, and he's very sincere about putting his family back together. And he's telling her, you need to come back home. You know, I want you and Josh at the home. And she said, no, we're going to take baby steps. And you could tell he was wearing her down. And eventually she agreed to go on a date with him. He said, just 2 hours. Let's just go on a date. So she agreed to go on a date. So we're going to see how everything's going to play out with her and Glenn this season.